Andrew Jackson was the 7th President of the United States, a figure whose influence extended far beyond his 2 terms in office. He served from 1829 to 1837, a period marked by significant transformation and upheaval. His presidency is known as the Age of Jackson, a time when the nation was redefining itself. This period was a time of great change in America, with the country experiencing rapid growth and development. The country was expanding westward, driven by the belief in manifest destiny, the idea that Americans were destined to expand across the continent. More people were participating in politics, as Jacksonian democracy promoted greater involvement of the common man in government. Jackson was a popular figure, known for his fiery personality and strong leadership. He was seen as a man of the people, someone who understood and championed the needs of the average American. He was born in poverty and fought in the Revolutionary War, experiences that shaped his views and policies. He was a self-made man who appealed to the common man, embodying the American ideal of self-reliance and determination. He was also a war hero, famous for his victory at the Battle of New Orleans in 1815, which made him a national icon. Jackson's presidency was marked by a number of important events that would shape the future of the nation. These included the Indian Removal Act, the Bank War, and the Nullification Crisis, each of which had profound and lasting impacts. Jackson was a strong leader who was not afraid to use his power, often in controversial ways. He left a lasting legacy on American politics and society, influencing the direction of the country for years to come. The Age of Jackson was a time of both progress and conflict, as the nation grappled with its identity and future. It was a time when the United States began to take its place as a world power, expanding its influence and reach. But it was also a time when the country was deeply divided over issues such as slavery and states' rights, conflicts that would eventually lead to the Civil War. Andrew Jackson was a champion of the common man. He believed that all white men should have an equal say in government. This was a radical idea at the time. In the early 1800s, only wealthy white men could vote and hold office. Jackson's presidency saw a shift in power from the elites to the common people. He expanded voting rights to all white men, regardless of property ownership. This greatly increased the number of people who could vote. Jackson also appointed ordinary citizens to government positions. He believed that the government should be run by the people, not by a privileged few. Jackson's populist approach to politics made him a very popular figure. He was seen as a man of the people. He understood their concerns and fought for their interests. Jackson's presidency helped to usher in a new era of democracy in America. One of the most controversial aspects of Jackson's presidency was his use of the spoils system. The spoils system is the practice of rewarding political supporters with government jobs. Jackson believed that the spoils system was a way to ensure that the government was responsive to the will of the people. Jackson's opponents argued that the spoils system was corrupt. They said that it led to unqualified people being appointed to government positions. The spoils system also created a sense of loyalty among Jackson's supporters. This made it difficult to challenge his policies. Despite the controversy, the spoils system remained in place for many years after Jackson left office. It was not until the late 19th century that civil service reform began to limit the use of the spoils system. Section 4. Jackson versus the Bank. Another major issue of Jackson's presidency was the Bank War. The Bank War was a political and economic battle over the Second Bank of the United States. The Second Bank was a national bank that was chartered by Congress in 1816. Jackson believed that the Second Bank was unconstitutional. He also believed that it was a tool of the wealthy elite. Jackson vetoed the bill to recharter the bank in 1832. He then removed the government's deposits from the bank. The Bank War had a significant impact on the American economy. It led to a period of financial instability. It also strengthened the power of the presidency. Jackson's victory over the bank showed that the president could use his veto power to shape public policy. Section 5. Trail of Tears. Perhaps the most tragic event of Jackson's presidency was the Indian Removal Act of 1830. This act marked a significant and sorrowful turning point in American history. This law authorized the president to negotiate treaties with Native American tribes living east of the Mississippi River. These negotiations were often conducted under immense pressure and with little regard for the well-being of the tribes. The goal was to remove them to lands west of the Mississippi. This relocation was framed as a necessary measure for progress and expansion. Jackson believed that Indian removal was necessary for the safety and security of white settlers. He argued that it would prevent conflicts and allow for the growth of new settlements. He also believed that it was in the best interests of the Native Americans themselves. Jackson claimed that relocation would protect Native American cultures from the encroachment of white society. Many Native American tribes resisted removal. They saw the forced relocation as a threat to their way of life and their ancestral lands. They fought for their land in court and through armed resistance. Legal battles and physical confrontations marked this period of intense struggle. However, they were ultimately forced to relocate. The power dynamics and military force used against them were overwhelming. The forced removal of Native Americans from their ancestral lands is a dark chapter in American history. It represents a profound injustice and a violation of human rights. Thousands of Native Americans died during the forced marches west. The journey was grueling and many succumbed to disease, starvation, and exhaustion. The Trail of Tears, as it came to be known, is a reminder of the human cost of Jacksonian democracy. It stands as a testament to the resilience of the Native American people and the enduring impact of this tragic event. Section 6. An Imperfect Democracy. The age of Jackson was a time of both progress and contradiction in American democracy. While Jackson championed the common white man, his vision of democracy excluded women, African Americans, and Native Americans. These groups continued to be denied basic rights. They had no voice in the political process. Jackson's presidency saw the expansion of suffrage for white men. However, it also saw the further marginalization of marginalized groups. Jackson himself was a slave owner. He supported the institution of slavery. His policies often benefited white settlers at the expense of Native Americans. The age of Jackson is a reminder that the expansion of democracy is often a slow and uneven process. It is also a reminder that the fight for equality and justice is an ongoing one. Section 7. Jackson's Mixed Legacy. Andrew Jackson was a complex and contradictory figure, embodying both the virtues and vices of his era. He was a war hero, a populist, and a champion of the common man, celebrated for his military victories and his appeal to the average American. However, Jackson was also a slave owner, a proponent of Indian removal, and a ruthless politician who often used his power to achieve his goals. Jackson left a mixed legacy on American history, one that continues to spark debate and reflection. On the one hand, Jackson helped to shape modern American democracy. He expanded suffrage, allowing more white men to vote, and championed the rights of the common man. He strengthened the power of the presidency, setting precedents that would influence future leaders. On the other hand, his policies led to the forced removal of Native Americans from their lands, known as the Trail of Tears, and the continued oppression of African Americans. Jackson's presidency remains a subject of debate among historians. Some argue that his actions were necessary for the growth of the nation. Some view him as a great president who strengthened the nation and left a lasting impact on its political landscape. Others view him as a deeply flawed figure who perpetrated injustice against marginalized groups, leaving a legacy of suffering and displacement. Regardless of how one views him, there is no doubt that Andrew Jackson left an indelible mark on American history, shaping the nation in ways that are still felt today.